Hey, yo, Neil. Hey, what's up? I got you. Got you. Yeah. R.I.P. Grammy. Free my brother. It's free to his backwards. Look.
All right, welcome to the Underground. Welcome to another edition of RSG1 Mike. Boy, it feels like we've been away for a little bit, but it's the holiday season. Happy New Year. Happy
Happy New Year.
2024 to everyone. I know y'all still writing down 2023 when y'all write stuff down on your notebook, check wherever it might be for those of y'all who still do checks and everything else. But we here. We're gonna spend some time a little bit in this show, reflect a little bit on 2023, but getting right into 2024. But before I do that, let me bring in my co-host here into the building. What's up, my man, Carl Hampton? How you doing, man?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. Like Big Sean, know what I'm saying? That's what's up. So,
That's
uh,
right. That's right.
yeah. No, just doing well, man. I was in ATL with my family. Saw some great football, and I'm looking forward to talk, man. It's been too long, but hey, we rested, we ready to go, and we're real sports guys. Let's do it. Let's get it.
That's right. Right, my man Darnell. How you doing, man? You know.
I'm doing good as always. I told you the tweaks are coming with Tom Izzo's Michigan State team. The tweaks are coming, and you see the team start to come together, and we'll keep a closer eye on that.
Yeah, they did. Izzo does his thing. He has his own way of doing things. He
Yeah,
plays
you,
young
you told you
guys.
told me you was wishful thinking. You saw that Baylor game.
Yeah,
Hey,
but I thought he might have been playing with fire this year. But the Izzo formula, tried and true. I knew I was gonna probably hear from you, but he had me a little nervous. He had me a little nervous this year. I'm like, come on, Izzo, what's going on? Come on, man. So we definitely can talk about that and do it. It's 2024, but we also want to take some time. I've been on a couple calls. Sometimes you got to reflect before you can go forward. And one of the things that we want to do today is reflect a little bit on some of the moments that we saw in 2023. And there's probably a number of moments that folks have. We go back and forth, because I think it'll set the context for what we hope we might see in 2024, and also some of the conversations we'll have here in the rest of the show. I don't know who wants to go first, but just to talk a little bit about some of the moments that kind of got you in your sports moments for 2023 that you're reflecting on.
I can start. But definitely, the Denver Nuggets winning the championship. It
Yep.
was surreal. Growing up, me and D Wills are basically the same age, so I just never imagined the Denver Nuggets to win a championship growing up. This is a team that we laughed at, who put up 160 points. The Alex English, Dan Issel, and Fat Lever team that was exciting, but we never thought could win. They were kind of a spectacle, but they weren't seriously taken. So to see Joker can see the way, especially a coach like Malone brought it, and Jamal Murray and the depth they had, really was exciting to see the NBA and see another person in the NBA. We're tired of the same old, the Lakers and Celtics and even the Bulls. Real talk. So we want to basically acknowledge them for really changing their perception of NBA royalty, and happy to see them do it. I can go on with another one if you want me to. Definitely, Lamont Butler's shot in the tournament last year, NCAA tournament, was amazing. The most equitable tournament I've seen ever, as far as the teams that get in the finals, and 16 being a one again. Just show why we love college basketball. Why sadly I think NBA is waning in popularity, because great defense, great great offense, it's great everything, great teammanship, and so definitely that's the main thing. And then the final thing I would say that that was definitely the Super Bowl. It was an amazing game with two teams back and forth. Football pugilism is greatest. And it culminated in one of the best endings, one of the most watched Super Bowls ever. And so we had a great year of sports, and I think 2024 is going to bring us even more. But I was going to talk about some of the things that we want to see gone in sports, but just we're going to lift up the the promising and exciting things we have right now, and not lift up the negativity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on the Denver one, and I think what's great about that, we know about Kiki Vandeweghe, the brother. Kiki had that game. Carmelo. Denver was always trying to figure it out, and I think the great thing about this is that it also brought the big man back in the game with Jokic and the way that he played, and we're now seeing Embiid and different ways some of these bigs are being brought in the game as part of the process was great to see, and just the way they approached it was great to see with Denver, and so I love that, and some of the highlights you gave as well, and even with the tournament, we had the all can't trust the team, Purdue, and the irony of it is, had a chance to watch the Purdue team out in Maui and got to really like the team and like the coach. It was kind of weird. To do that. But they had that loss to Fairleigh Dickerson, and that's just that was a moment, man. It was like you could see it happening. Was a great moment. Another one for me, and was on the WNBA side was Asia Wilson's performance after being dissed a little bit on the MVP and what she put together. Going to New York, down players and the performance she put on. I'm a big fan of the WNBA women's basketball. She just brought her game, and I love that Vegas team. They got that. They got something about them with the swagger from the coach on down. Was good for me. And then Crawford Spence. We waited for the moment, and Crawford. Whew, I mean, coming out with Eminem and then doing what he did in ways that we didn't even think could happen in that fight was, especially with Darnell here, with the boxing was, there's big moments in boxing, even though it doesn't produce those big moments like UFC. The Crawford, that moment, everybody was anticipating and for Crawford to dominate the way he did, and then obviously, as a Michigan fan, the Conor Stalions, the around Michigan and the bet, the resiliency with all the craziness happening, being that story, and those cats hanging together and getting to the finals, for the championship. But just that whole conversation about college football being part of that, it was on the front page, and it's one of those elements of sports that reminds us, particularly the college game, where there's so much money shifting hands, so much going on that there's a lot going on in the college game that's going to be part of this conversation moving forward. So those are just a few. There was a lot of other moments, but I'll get over to Darnell.
Yeah, like you said, there's a whole lot of moments. I'm going to start off with pretty much the whole year. For me, was the moment of Marquise Noel. For me,
Mm.
watching his rise at Kansas State.
Yep.
I remember seeing him as a youngin with the whole Jelly Fam movement on Instagram and YouTube
Mm.
back when they were in high school. We're talking
Mm.
about Isaiah Washington,
Mm.
talking about Jaquan Clearly, and this was 2017. This is a name I forgot about until he reemerged as a super senior, and just to see the way the way he's grown and the way he played in that tournament, man, he was looking like almost like a little Isaiah Thomas out there, the way he was playing. But also on the women's college basketball side, you had Caitlin Clark, and also you had them go up against LSU and Angel Reese. You had that was just a great moment overall for the sport, and just to get more eyeballs and more viewership, and just to have it be a part of the national conversation was huge for the sport, and that was a big moment for me. And like you said, Crawford Spence, we've been waiting on that fight forever. And like you said, he came out to Eminem, but it started at the weigh-in. Started the weigh-in when they played Mr. Carter, and you just saw he was locked into that moment. Mr. Carter by Lil Wayne, he was in that moment.
Yep.
And one of the guys from Team Spence was talking to him, and he was like, you just saw him. He was in the mode right there, and he was like, Team Crawford, we get active. I was like, man. Oh man, Terrence Crawford, man, that was something. And then also in boxing, we had the year everybody had recognize who the monster is. Like
Mm,
a lot of people didn't know about Inoue, but he fought Stephen Fulton, the guy that I love to watch. Stephen Fulton is one of my guys. He not afraid to fight nobody, but he ran into the monster, and
yep.
everybody saw how amazing of a fighter he is. So yeah, that's just a couple of the great moments that happened. I know there's a lot more. You had Georgia putting on their dominant performance in
Hmm.
the national championship game, something that we didn't talk about. But yeah,
Yeah,
a
I mean,
lot
you
of
have
great.
you have the World Baseball Classic and and all the energy that came around that as well. It was just a lot. Coco winning her first major at the U.S. Open. It just I felt like not only was there great sports happening, but it was happening across multiple dimensions. Whether it was women's tennis to you see baseball on the global stage to like you saying the little guy showing up in like what Carl said about the balance you see in the field in the NCAA tournament where these older mid majors, flexing, against some of these blue bloods, and even the little guy to the women's basketball game, like you said, just taking over and
And we
Angel Reese, and then what they doing afterwards with the NIL and the way the money is going, like it was just a lot of layers this year that
and we
I
even
can
saw
appreciate.
that in the NBA as well with
Yeah,
Jimmy Butler. I know they didn't win the whole thing, but the
yeah,
Miami Heat as an AC,
yeah,
they really wreaked havoc in there. They went into Milwaukee and took the Giannis' lunch money.
yeah,
Um, they went in and beat the Celtics. They really well they've been on the map, but they
yeah.
showed they were forced to reckon with even as an AC.
Yep. I mean, yeah, coming through and and having one of their best players not even playing, and they still
Right.
just
Other
that
hero.
showing you what that heat culture is about, right? Um,
Yes,
and
sir.
so
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
it brought up, and I'm looking forward to a great 2024, where we can appreciate what's going on. So before we get into talking about the college football championship, like as you think about 2023 and thinking about 2024, what are some of the things that you hope to see in 2024? Want to go Darnell, or
All
you
right,
or
we talked about it in our show before.
yeah,
Um, a few weeks ago, not a few weeks ago, a few shows ago. But Devin Haney versus Javante Tank Davis, we got to see it.
yeah.
That's the fight I want to see in 2024. There's some other fights as well, like Crawford and Charlo.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's quite a few. I don't want to take the whole time, but
Yeah,
just a couple things.
definitely some matchups, in the fight game, coming up, in 2024. People are feeling like they are willing to make the deals, and some of these deals are beginning to come together. So, those are always great, and we want to see, we want to see some of that. Carl, you said you alluded to some things that you wanted to see different in 2024.
Yeah, definitely get rid of the portal or make some type of again huge paradigm shift of what's happening in college football and college sports in general. It's become absolute abomination right now, and it's teaching our young people really bad things, bad character. We have the portal. You have 1,800 players in the portal, only 400 spots. So you have a lot of, for instance, a local thing. Brother Marcus Allen, who was a wide receiver, sadly was kicked off the team with the Badgers. Had to go to JUCO this week because he couldn't get a look. And perfect. The reality of the portal is really what they need to do, and they make the portal so sexy as far as all these guys who are transferring and getting big money. But you look at about 78% of them are sitting at home like us right now, wondering where their next meal is coming from, where their next gig is coming from. And so they need to pay the players, just real though. They need to pay the players right now. That's just how it has to be. The NIL game has become ridiculous, so it's not regulated. So only regulated by certain states. It's not regulated on a national level. Not regulated by NCAA, and really it's causing inequity a lot of players and causing just mass chaos throughout the country where teams are literally reshuffling every day to deal with the reality. So it's a nonsensical entity right now. It needs to be reformed, or bad things can happen.
Yeah, I agree as well that the transfer portal does need some reform and some overhaul. But one thing I do want to say is that when we look at those numbers as far as the kids that are in the transfer portal, that goes for all levels of college football. There are D1 kids in the transfer portal, D2 kids in the transfer portal, D3, NAIA, all in the transfer portal. It's not just all the Power Five teams that we
Good
know
point.
that are in the transfer portal.
But yeah, they're not getting a new team either. So I mean, it doesn't. I mean, bottom line is all these players, 78% of the players are not transferring. So the transfer portal is oxymoron as far as I'm concerned, because transferring is not happening.
Yeah.
It's only happening for the chosen few. So that's where it really needs to be reformed, because, like I said, it's becoming an abomination where the portal really doesn't mean what it says.
Yeah, and I think the challenge of the portal in its current state is a legitimate issue around academic calendars and how fast you got to make decisions, which creates a lot of stress and opportunity on both sides for all players. Most people don't understand that. Let's say if you're a young person at Georgia and you go in a transfer portal, even if there's, these publications will say, well, they're headed to Oregon. There's an admissions process. There's a transfer admissions process.
So
And
Caleb
we,
Love,
we, we found that with
perfect example.
Caleb. Like, people don't
Yeah.
understand just because people put stuff in the paper, it doesn't mean it actually is happening. And so you got to get admitted, and you still have to get classes.
Mhm.
So, like, if you on a quarter system, some of these schools started class like this week or early
Yeah.
next week, right? And so, like,
That's what happened at Stanford, because we're on the
yeah,
quarter system all day. Yeah.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
so there's for a process that says it's still about education, none of that makes sense. Like, you are trying to, and some of these folks, there's still a progress to degree. So you got to be at a certain point in your program. And so some of these people have to transfer in, and they got to have a major, and it's got to be like, the process isn't easy, and you got to move across country, right?
Mhm.
So you got to plan to move across country. So this process for both the coaches, it's a stressful thing for coaches because they're managing stuff at the same time. You know, uh, the way to probably do it, and people wouldn't like this, is you transfer after the spring semester, and that would it creates another set of issues, but there's a longer runway for more kids
That's a good
transferring
point,
after
D.
the spring
Wells.
semester.
That's our education coming back. Yeah,
That's your
that's the real
education
problem.
coming back in. If that's the driver, then you don't
It's not the
have people
driver though. They're
transferring.
they're they're transferring early because they want to
Yeah,
get on. They want to
yeah.
get practicing
They
immediately.
want to get
So
practices, but that ain't
yeah.
shouldn't be driving it. Because I think if you
Well,
had a
I think
different
the reality,
process,
bro, is driving it, because if you don't practice, you can't play, right? I mean, I
well,
shouldn't
but
say it like that.
there's
If you're
false.
the average player, if you don't
I mean,
practice, you don't play.
but look at Russell Wilson. Like, Russell came in the summer and then was captain by, like, people have
Russell's
done
an
that. They
elite
do that all
athlete.
the
Yeah,
time.
that's
They
again,
transfer.
the
There is a
exceptions don't
second
make the
group of
rule, bro.
there is a
Exceptions don't make the
second
rule.
transfer portal
Russell, no,
stage.
exceptions don't make the rule.
There
Russell
is
was a different
there's
cat.
a second
A
space.
different cat. No, he's a different cat. I won't let you go. He's a different cat. I mean, you talk about
But
an
that's the
elite baseball
educational
athlete
side of it.
and elite. Yeah, but he had everything together. He had his
But that's
academics.
why you have.
Russell, you
But
can't compare. Russell's a different
if you
cat, bro.
solving the problem, if you're gonna solve the problem, you got to look at the
No, you have
problem
to
is not
tailor it
just
to
the
all
kids.
students, though, D-Will. You can't
But
just tailor
the
it to
problem is not just about the athletes. The problem is the time.
yeah, because
The
you have
reason why some
different
of these kids are
ideas. You
getting
have
left
different
out
systems.
is because everybody in this process. I heard Saban talking about it today. Like,
Yeah.
you're trying to prepare for a game. You're reviewing kids in transfer portal. You got your kids. You've been like, it's pressure on coaches to try to figure this thing out. Like, it's not just about the
Ain't no pressure
players,
on Saban. I
and they
mean,
got to
Saban, it
deal
might be
with their
self
own
pressure, but
institution.
Saban's 72 years old and Saban's fine.
But
You
see,
know,
but I mean, I'm Steve. But Carl, that's the issue. If you want to solve the problem, we can't just say that's how it is. That's the
the
issue.
whole system needs to be reformed, bro. The whole system.
I
The
don't.
whole
I would
system.
say the system, but I said first step to the system is you don't transfer in the spring. That's the first step. There is
That's
no other
not. I
way to
mean,
solve it.
that's idealism, bro. That's not
That's not
reality.
idealism.
It is
They can do that
idealism.
any way they want to.
No, because you're gonna cost them their chance to play because they're not
No,
going to
then
be transferring too late.
if
They're gonna be
someone
acclimated to the
wants these
team. That's
players,
wrong.
they gonna play.
You don't know
They
that,
have
bro. You
summer
don't know that.
in summer
If you're on
camp.
the
They gonna
market, you don't
play.
know that, man. You don't know that.
But they have a better chance of playing if you stretch the runway than they don't.
I disagree,
Like
man. I think they
they're
have a
not
better
bringing these
chance
kids in. They're not going to play.
coming in. Well, again,
Carl, you
they
got
might.
people going through the transfer portal, getting into the summer, and then transferring out.
That's true. That's their right.
So
But under the
that's the
rules,
problem. People
well, they
aren't.
need to
They're
they need to
not able to
reform it.
make
But that's
educated
one of the
decisions.
problems.
That's many parts of the problem. But you got to solve that one first. You got to solve that one first. If you don't solve that one first, as someone who
But
spends a lot of
solving,
time doing it,
but
like
that's not
I'm
the
speaking from
solution, though.
experience.
That's not the
I'm an
solution.
expert in
I
this.
know
I
where
will
you're
say
speaking
this.
from. Again,
I'm an
you're
expert
talking
in
about the
this.
student.
I'm more of an
I know
expert
you're
in this
expert
than
in this.
most
I know you're
people.
expert in
I
this.
live
But
this.
I know a little
I've
bit
been
too.
doing
Be
this for
dangerous
10
too.
years.
I know a little bit too.
Easily. I've been dealing with this subject for
I
10
know
years
that, but I know a little bit to be
individually.
dangerous, bro.
I
If
know I
nobody's
know I know about
disrespecting
much about this as
you,
anyone in
are
the
you are
country
most. We'll put you're
experienced.
most.
And I'm
You
gonna tell you
are.
right now, the first
Yeah.
stage of it is you got to change the timeline.
But
You
that has
got
to
to
be
change the timeline.
uniform, D. Wills.
All
It
right,
can't
huh?
be school by school. It has to be uniform. It has to be all the
No,
time. Like
that's the
basically, you have to play
NCAA
everybody.
decision.
I agree. So that's my point exactly. But you're not going to change it by school by school. What you're talking about? You're going to change it by systemically. You can't change it
Yes,
school by
but the
school, bro.
NCAA sets the
That's my point
they set the
exactly.
timeline. The schools don't set it. The NCAA sets the
No
timeline for
disrespecting
transfers.
this real. We know you're one of the. And I'm not tooting your horn,
Yeah,
giving you. You're one of the elite academic deans in the world. Okay, so it's not even an issue of talking about that, bro.
yeah.
I'm talking about the fact, the reality that you need to systemically change it because you're right. The systems related to quarters, related to practicing, they're all messed up because
Yeah,
everybody's
and I
regulated,
think the other
it's
thing,
self-regulated.
the
And so
part
my
you're hitting
point is it has
on,
to be systemic. It cannot be
the part
where
you're hitting on is what Jim Harbaugh hit on, which I would say, if you are sharing the revenue and you can lock in when you decide to go to an institution, you have to commit to 2 years,
yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah, I mean they do
There's
that in
continuity.
baseball. They commit to 3 years. Yeah, so my point exactly is that there has to be systemic. That's my point exactly.
Yeah,
It cannot be where you telling the young men or young women basically, okay, well, you need to transfer. So no, it has to be changed systemically where transferring in the spring is ideal. It's not ideal right now. So you have to change the whole system. That's my point exactly. It cannot be piecemeal, bro. It
but
can't be. No,
it's
it cannot be
idea
piecemeal.
because
It's
we
got to
believe
be
it's idea.
where you
If
change the
you
whole
are a
system,
current
man.
college player and you come and play and you come into the summer camp and summer workouts, you can be ready to play by fall. High school athletes do it all the time.
I want to hear Darnell. Darnell been
Oh,
quiet.
go ahead,
What do you
Darnell.
think about it?
I mean, well, actually, my idea was to move the timeline back, but I actually don't necessarily know how that would work as far as when you would start the season because
Mm.
you would run into the same problems you're talking about as far as academic calendar because the fall semester you're going to run into that you're not going to want to play games without the students there, But yeah, that was my idea because ideally, like I would want the national championship game to be on January 1st on New Year's Day and have
Mm.
that be the big spectacle and have that be the big day. And then, after that's over with, then you have the transfer portal period, right?
Yeah.
But
And it needs to be systemically. That's my point. Darnell's approved. It needs to be systemically changed to where the academic and athletic calendars are similar in nature. So no one's punished athletically or academically for doing their best interests. And so that's why the system needs to be systemically changed. Plain and
Yeah,
simple. It
but my,
cannot
my
be.
argument with that is that people have historically transferred in after a spring semester and still played in the fall. Like especially if you're a
But
veteran athlete.
I agree. But you're at a disadvantage, though. You're putting the player at a disadvantage where that I think that's patently unfair, man. You're putting it's better for their give them the opportunity to transfer when they want to, not where they transfer after they're going to be inhibited to transfer after spring semester. I think that's just
But
bad
I could
blocking.
argue that there's more downsides to that player trying to come in the spring semester
They
into
should
a
have the
new
choice, though.
academic
We've always talked about
environment.
choices here, D. Wills.
But it's
They
not
should have the
about
choice.
choices. See, this is
It is
where the
about
problem.
choices.
This was the problem is it's not educationally benefit, and sometimes you got to tell somebody
I
that's not a good
agree.
move,
But I
right?
agree.
You've been
But
around
again, it's
college
education.
campuses.
But
How difficult is it to transfer into a new university
it's
at
very
at, at,
difficult.
at the break?
But we're talking about different. We're talking about different people, though. These are different. These are athletes, man. I mean, again, they're
It
the type
doesn't
of.
matter who they are. They still
Let
got
me
to be there
finish.
for students.
They have to be there. But my point is that they get extra touring, they get extra things, and so yeah, they can acclimate to different things unlike their peers. Let's just keep it real. They have certain resources
Even
that
with the
other players don't
support,
have.
it's difficult. Even with the support, it's difficult to
I
come
agree
in.
it's difficult, but my point is that they should have the choice of
So
flexibility.
here's my
But to me,
question.
that's the problem. The choice on that stuff, because we know
No,
educationally it's not good.
but inhibiting them is a problem. I mean, being rigid is a problem. I don't like that.
Sometimes you got to inhibit. I built a lot of programs to tell people sometimes you got
And
to
you're
have
hurting
delayed
athletes
gratification,
then. You're hurting athletes.
and it's worked. And people
But
come back
if
to you
you,
15 years later
he was,
saying,
if you
"I'm glad you
inhibit,
did."
you're talking about unrealistic
I'm still giving you the money.
thing.
So here's my question.
The
Go ahead.
1 year renewables,
How do
you're
you
not giving
feel
money.
about
They're not.
early enrollees then?
What? What's that?
How do you feel about early enrollees that come in during the spring?
Mm.
What are your thoughts on that?
They got to be the right kind of student, but it can work. Because we've done it, we support it, but they got to be the right kind of student. Meaning, if you think about educationally for a first year student coming in, there's a reason why the curriculum is developed a certain way for first year students coming in, and they're basically coming in halfway through it. But some of these students who are coming in, they've been taking AP classes, like the profile of them. Some
Precisely.
of these
So
kids
it's
have been
not.
taking
That's my
AP.
point exactly. They take
They've
AP
been
class. So
good.
why punish a student? Why punish a student who has aptitude? That's what I'm saying. It's one size doesn't fit all. D. Wills.
Yeah, you're
punishing the student.
even course offerings are set up in a certain
I
way
know
for
that,
first
but
year
course
students in
offerings
general
can be
education,
crafted
right?
that way.
So
You can craft
yeah,
them. You can craft
so
them. You can craft them. That's
you
what your
you,
job.
you can't
It's a
always
crafting,
craft
correct?
them, right? It's got
I
to be the
agree
right.
with that.
Even when you
But you
talk to
can
coaches,
though.
even when you talk to coaches, coaches say it's got to be the right kind of player. Not all coaches jump on this. Everybody thinks
That's
coaches
true.
want that. They all don't jump on it. They don't. Most of their kids come in for summer camp. They got for 90% of their kids, they have a really strong program. They have them come in for summer school. They got a good
Mhm.
preseason workout. Like most 90% of the coaches are okay with that. If they have the right kind of kid, and usually it's a kid who's done the right things to graduate early, they can do it. But you'd be surprised how many coaches they like it, but they don't. You'd be surprised.
That's why D. Wills, there needs to be uniformity as far as reforming the system, so there's not these kicks as far as semester versus quarter, early enrollee versus spring. Spring. There has to be a way where it's uniformly changed. That's my point exactly.
Yeah,
You're
but
proving my
the
point.
only way you can do that, given the different curriculums, is the one area where you got the longest runway is the summer. Like, so if you can find a way, the first problem you got is do we guarantee 4 year scholarships?
You guarantee
That
it's
change,
their 1 year
but then
renewable,
you
but
got to
that's
have the
not.
money work out right.
But yet they're 1 year renewable though. That's another thing. That's not
Well,
the
not
4 year
all of
scholarship
them.
is a
There,
myth. Well,
there
it
are
depends on the player. It
institutions who
depends
don't do
on
1 year
the
renewables.
school and the player. Again, you prove my point exactly. That's why we have the Wild Wild West of NCAA. There needs to be uniform standards
Yes.
where all things are uniform, where people are not being disadvantaged by their choices.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. They should not be disadvantaged by their choices. They should be disadvantaged by poor choices, yeah, but not their choices.
Yes,
That's the bottom
but
line. And
you
so
also have to make a distinction, and this is a really important point. I want to that you have to make a distinction. If being disadvantaged is Michigan is promised me $100,000 over my first 2 years, committed to first 2 years, and then I realize I could be making $2 million. That is not disadvantage. They're giving you the money.
it is disadvantaged because as a student, just like if you're an academic student, you have certain choices where you can go to certain institutions who can give you more money, more benefits as an academic scholar, and you know this compared to an athletic scholar. So
Yeah, but you
why
also
have
get
let me
you
finish? So
also get benefits that those
why have
other student
discrepancy?
athletes, those other those other
Between
students are not getting.
academic scholars who get certain packages and athletic scholars get certain? It should be the same thing.
Yeah, but this is beyond scholarship. This is beyond your academic need. You
They're
actually get
making
money.
money though for the university too as well. They're making money, especially the football players are making the money for
Yeah,
the university. So my
but
point is
there's
that
an agreement.
they should have the opportunity.
But
They have
there's
a
got to
better
be an agreement.
offer.
Even as a pro, you can't just walk away.
I agree with that.
So why are we letting college players do what pros can't do?
Again, that's where there needs to be uniform standards.
But I just said that to you, and you were like,
no, because you're talking about
"Well,
a
so
standard
you should say everybody should get $100,000 for 2 years."
No, I'm saying that the
That's
market
uniform.
will dictate. The market will dictate what you get, but my point is that there should be the
Well,
same
if
type
that's
of
like the pros, then
rules for
that means you
everybody.
got to stay in for the conditions. the agreement.
I agree with that. I'm not saying
Then my
that's my
point is
point.
being
Exactly.
made.
No, your point is because you're talking about
If there are 2-year contracts,
you're still talking about restricting the student again.
NFL players are restricted. You don't think
They are restricted by
you don't think
contracts.
the
It's not
rookie
true.
quarterbacks want to go somewhere else
They're restricted by contracts and by
by
collective bargaining.
contract
Yeah,
because this is the
and collective
contract.
bargaining too, and antitrust laws too. Precisely
But there's agreement around that. There is an agreement around that.
because they have
There are
uniform
terms of an
standards.
agreement.
They have uniform standards with the NFLPA, the NFL, and so we need to have uniform standards with again the NCAA and all these
Yes.
universities.
But
think?
like I said, so they could the NCAA could say the value is $100,000.
Yeah. So what exactly are we
What are we
arguing?
arguing?
What we are arguing is
Well,
that I D Wills is talking about a certain like summer the basically he's advocating that summer after spring enrollment should be the norm. I'm like, no, there
we're
should
No,
be
talking about
opportunity.
pay
There should be
scale now. We're
no,
talking
no.
okay,
about
with
What,
the
what
pay
I
scale.
pivoted
I
to,
think the
what I
pay scale
pivoted
should
to
be
is
the market said.
what I
I don't think it
pivoted
should be
to
the
give
market
people
said. The market
continuity.
said.
What I pivoted to give people continuity is there's a scale around NIL that is connected to a 2-year commitment, right? So there's continuity,
yeah.
right?
I agree with the
Okay,
I
2-year
agree with the
commitment.
2-year
If there's
commitment,
a
but
2-year
also
renewable, yeah.
a
But if
tweak
it's
I would
1-year
do.
renewable, heck
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But
That's
a
not
tweak,
that's not
but a
uniform.
tweak I would do is to have the money be as a result of a revenue share, right? So
Mm,
the
mm.
schools in your conference will do like a revenue share of
Yep.
all the money, right? And then it'll be attributed to all the players. All the players will be making the same amount of money, and then
Yep.
NIL could be what NIL is supposed to be. So
Yes.
now the market value comes into play through the actual name, image, and likeness, like
Yes.
when Bryce Young had a Gatorade deal, like that
Yep.
kind of thing. The way,
Yep.
Yeah, and therefore the market would dictate. So you're talking about more of a uniform stipend based on
pretty much, yeah.
I have no problem with that.
But they're getting
D Will's
they're
talking
getting
about
a piece of
D
that
Will's wasn't talking about
ESPN
that. D
money.
Will's
They're
talking
getting a
about
piece of Fox money.
limiting their NIL money. I think that's wrong.
No,
That's unconstitutional anyway.
what
No,
I'm
that's
saying
not
is,
what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
No, I know what you're saying. I'm saying that what D Will's saying. I'm not saying what you're saying.
well,
You're
no,
saying you agree with
I
me.
might have mischaracterized. I think I'm more where Darnell is. What I'm saying is have
Okay,
a
well, thank you,
standard.
brother. I didn't hear that. I heard.
Because right now it's not about it's pay for play, as Saban says. It's
I have
not
no
name,
problem
image, and
with you,
likeness.
brother. I have
It's
no
not name, image,
problem
and
with.
likeness.
Okay, then I'm glad we worked
The
this
current,
out
the current, the
on the air.
current
We're
thing
on the
is
air.
not name, image, and likeness.
I agree.
When you have collectives, that's not name, image, and likeness.
I
Name,
agree. It
image, and
needs to be
likeness is
reformed. It needs to
Gatorade.
be. And my
Name,
point
image, and
exactly. I
likeness
have
is
no
a young
problem.
lady doing the commercials from LSU, right? On the commercials
Yeah,
because she's doing
yeah.
the brand. That's name, image, and likeness.
I agree. And so my point is that there needs to be a distinction. You're right. The NIL is because it's being regulated by so many different things and basically self-regulated. It's ridiculous. You're right. So the bottom line is, have this thing where they're splitting the revenues among the player. I have no problem with that. And then I have the NIL, the true NIL, where it's regulated, but the prices are what the market dictates.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're going to get to talking about the Florida State fiasco because it sits into what you just said. And one of the things that was interesting, I heard Saban talk about because remember Saban's players stayed to play. They all said we're going to play together, and one of the things they did was
You're talking about a
they
couple
upped
years
their
ago,
insurance.
last year, they did.
They upped their insurance. They set up something so they could up their insurance so they could play against any kind of injury. They were doing something, but the players agreed to kind of stay, and some of this is
They
around
made
that.
choices, though. They made choice. Yeah, their choice was sweetened, but they made
Because
choices.
one of the things that I think is this Florida State thing is interesting because I think the players it was their protest. Look, forget y'all, but I always say there's a value to how you leave, right?
Yeah.
Even with how you come, and there's more value to your network. One of
I
the
agree.
most
No,
powerful things about being part of something, particularly at the level they
sure.
are, is that they are part of a global network when they have these
They are
institutions.
probably a little bit more
Most of these
into
athletes
global fraternity.
don't
And
even
so the
understand how
one
to
thing I
access
say
it.
is that D Wells, the one thing I had the pleasure of experiencing was, sadly, because my aunt passed away last year. I actually was driving through Tuscaloosa and heard the radio for about 3 hours and heard the perspective of the local other people, what happened, why they chose a decision. And you're right. You talked about basically the Alabama brand, the Roll Tide, Crimson Tide brand, the great network they have of corporations as well as alumni. But they still, the bottom line is that they sweeten the pot. But Will Anderson and the Cats made a choice, and so that's my point, that they should be allowed to make a choice.
Yeah, but what we got to be honest about is Alabama and Florida State, their teams are made up in completely different ways. Like the Alabama kids you're talking about with Bryce Young, Will Anderson, even a few years back with Jerry Jeudy, Harry Ruggs, when they all decided to play when they didn't make the playoffs. Those kids are homegrown. Those kids were recruited to Alabama. They stayed all 4 years, and it means something to them. Florida State, they've taken a whole bunch of transfers. Like Keon,
Jared Verse,
they don't have the same stake in the game that the Alabama kids do.
I think they have the same brand though too. The FSU brand is not. I mean, I think that
I don't know if the brand,
let's keep it real.
really matters that much.
Yeah, Prime not even giving them love. He talking about Talladega instead.
But to be honest with you, if you went to Eastern right now, if I drove down the street and talked to some of the kids that have been playing there for 4 or 5 years, they would tell you that they care just as much as the Alabama kids. It's not really the brand; it's the experience of being there, playing with your teammates.
Well, that's true. And so again, that's another thing where clearly the FSU experience wasn't there because everybody jumped ship. So, I don't know if that's an indictment on Coach Norvell or indictment on the program.
No, like I said, most of those kids are kids that transferred in. They have
that's true, but a lot of them that didn't. I mean, you can name some that didn't though, bro. You have some that didn't that still went. I mean, the bottom line is that I've seen at least the last 10, 15 years, the brand of the Seminole brand is not as strong, and that's why you have Dan Cannell out there clowning him, but then you have Prime up there talking about I'm a Talladega alum, and people getting upset because nobody's going to talk about they're not one Alabama alum. Because you're right, D-Will's right. You have the brand, you have the network, you'd be a damn fool to go against the brand. But people now are jumping against the FSU brand because it's not as strong. So yeah, and they got embarrassed an international scale because that brand was not strong.
Well, this is good, and I know this is gonna be a big part of the conversation moving forward. We got a college football championship game coming up. Michigan Wolverines against the Washington Huskies. We had 2 semifinal games that went down to the end with overtime in one. Big bowl season, but it's all here. It's all here. It's all going to happen on Monday night. Darnell, as you start to think about those semifinal games and what you saw, and what it might tell you about what we might see in the championship game, what are some of the things that you saw watching those games, and how that might get you thinking about what we might see here in the championship game?
Well, the Michigan defense is for real on all 3 levels. I mean, they have playmakers and they play hard. Like we said before the game, you got Will Johnson, one of the best corners, in my opinion, the best corner in the country. He's going to have a big impact in the game. He had a big impact in the semifinal game. You can say the same for the edge rushers, especially on the last play. I forgot his name, number 5, that had a big push on the final play against Jalen Milroe. But yeah, the defense is a big thing that stuck out to me. But also on the flip side, the special teams. It's something that can't go unnoticed. But they can't have those lapses that they had. I think Washington is a team that they're very resilient, just like Michigan. They're a team that always comes out in the clutch. They're poised. They have great leadership, just like Michigan has. So I think if they make a lot of those key mistakes, they could be in trouble. But I do think Michigan, at the end of the day, they do have a little bit more. I think they do have a little more talented team. I think their DBs can give Washington's receivers a bigger challenge that they've ever seen they've seen this season. The D line is going to present a significant challenge to Washington, but on the other side, we've seen all year from Washington. Michael Penix, he is for real. He showed why he definitely had a case to be the Heisman Trophy winner.
Man,
That boy is
that
excellent.
boy is for real.
The wide receiver, yeah, and the wide receiver core, they have three guys that are legitimate NFL prospects,
Yeah.
and they do a great job of tracking the ball. They're good route runners, and they all bring something different to the table. And on top of that, like their offensive line, defensive line, like the core of their team, they're formidable as well, led by Troy Flatanu. Sorry, if I mispronounced that, but they get it done. Well-rounded team. Like I said in
Hmm.
our last show, like this was a year, in my opinion, where we could have had the BCS. It could have just been Michigan. It could have been Michigan versus Washington. But it played out the right way. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
What about you, Hammer? It'd be both these semifinal games and how you kind of see this thing coming together.
Well, I was really disappointed in Alabama. I think there's no secret I'm not a Michigan fan for a lot of reasons. Conor Stalions and other things. You can smirk all you want to. You're cheaters. So that's simple. And so I won't. I won't. Again, I think Michigan's gonna win. But no, the point is that Alabama beat themselves. I've never seen. This is the worst Alabama team I've seen in the Saban era as far as talent and production. And Tommy Reese is at the top of the list and needs to be replaced immediately. And when they made that hire, I said to myself, that's a terrible hire because he wasn't even doing anything in Notre Dame, and yet they brought him to Tuscaloosa. But the main thing is that Michigan, I give them credit. They ran the ball with Brother Corum, great defense. Special teams was terrible, as you said. But the main thing was that, again, not only Carba out-coached Saban, which was stunning, but, we saw it on display, but also Alabama's, came and snapped the ball. I've never seen a type of debacle in the last play where they Brother Millwall probably could have scored on that play, the center who's transferring now snapped the ball. So again, it was this part of me is kind of torn. Is it? I like Harbaugh. He's a former Bear and Stanford guy. A lot of connections about Harbaugh, but I like the stalling thing. And this is how it is. But Alabama beat themselves in that game, and that's the stunning thing about it. But you go to the second semifinal game. It was an exciting game, but I think the main thing was that you saw sort of two sort of finesse teams who went at it, and the better finesse team won in Washington. And so,
I would call
Penix,
Texas a finesse
say
team or Washington.
I wouldn't call Washington. I wouldn't call
Oh,
Washington.
neither one of them
they're a
teams.
finesse team. They're not.
I reject
Michigan's
that.
going to crush them on Monday night because
I
they've
reject
not
that.
dealt with the type of bully on the block attitude. Let me
Washington has heard
finish.
this
You
time
talk,
and time again.
bruh. You talk.
Damn
You
it.
talk. I know I've been. Hey, I put it away. I've been guilty of that before. So but you're guilty of it now. So I'm gonna call you out of it. So the main thing is that you have a soft Washington team who it was a nice again Pac-12 type rest in peace of the Pac-12 game with Texas and Washington with Sarkisian, the former Pac-12 guy on the other side. And Washington almost blew the game because of dumb play and play calling. But it was an exciting game. But I think what happened is that Pace has not seen the type of bully in the block attitude that you talk about Will Johnson, talk about Graham. Studs on that defense are going to tear up Washington. Washington's going to be embarrassed on Monday night. And Penix, he's a system quarterback. I'm not excited about Penix at all. I mean, again, anyone's going to get fooled. You can laugh all you want to. But I saw Penix at Indiana. And I didn't see Michael Penix. I saw it now. I saw the real Michael. The real Michael Penix was I saw him at Indiana. Yeah, the real Michael Penix.
Man, I watched
who I saw 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Was not the real Michael Penix. Is not right now. He looks great in this Kalen DeBoer offense and Ryan Grubb, and you give him credit, but they have not seen again a bully on the block attitude that Michigan will bring in. And Brother Mentor's gonna eat them alive on Monday night. It's gonna be an embarrassment on Monday night by Michigan. I'm not gonna like it, but again, it'll be exciting. Because I like to see Harbaugh, but I don't like this kind of style and stuff. But it is what it is. He played his penalty, and he's coaching now. So the main thing about it is that And Washington, like I said, I can't believe they're here. I thought Texas would win. But yeah, Texas again beat themselves with that finesse attitude and just they basically played Washington's game and lost for that reason. They play at Michigan, they'd be in the championship right now. They should have been. Also, Sark's not the best coach in the world either. So DeBoer is one of the top coaches. I mean, I think he could go NFL if possible. But I know NFL teams are looking at him right now, and so he's a phenomenal mind. I mean, he went to Indiana and did Indiana, and then got a gig at Fresno State now, Washington. So again, I think I'm gonna watch the game, but I'm not gonna be surprised if a blowout and I can get some nice rest and sleep on Monday night after Michigan's up 35-0 on them. So yes.
You are out of control of that. No way. I'm a Michigan fan, and no, that's not going to happen.
Okay, well,
you'll
see when we do a show next week. You'll see.
Washington,
you'll be like,
Washington has heard this all year long.
Man,
all year long, they gonna lose to USC. They gonna lose to Oregon. They gonna lose to Oregon again, even though they just beat Oregon. They gonna lose to Texas. We're gonna learn one day.
Because they were playing WAC 10 competition. That's why they were doing it. But they're playing the Big Ten now.
Washington is not a soft team.
They are a soft team. They're soft.
I don't know where people get that from. I watch them play. They're not soft.
You'll see it right now. They're soft. Who
are Washington soft? Who?
Penix is soft. The guy with two ACL
injured and led his team.
He's definition soft.
That's strong.
He got two repair knees.
He was injured.
Two repair knees.
And he got out.
And he's still carrying them to victory. How is that
soft? He's brittle. He's fragile. And he has
that.
When they hit him, when they put that Big Ten hit on him, that brother gonna be back in the future to Indiana and sit and lay down. That's what he's gonna do.
That brother was good at Indiana.
Because how many sacks did Texas have on last Monday night? How many sacks they have? Zero. Zero.
And what does that tell you? And what does that tell you?
And Texas got one of the strongest fronts. That front got Alabama. That front beat Alabama.
Beat him up.
In Alabama.
So Texas is Washington's a soft team. They're a soft team. They're gonna be exposed on Monday night.
All right, Darnell. We heard a lot of that blasphemy. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's going to be a great game. I think Michigan's obviously going to clean up some of the special teams. Jay Harbaugh's on the clock. You got to get some of that stuff fixed and cleaned up, or he's on the clock. I still need to see a little bit more in their passing game. They started to open it up towards the end when they got down. I want them to come out with much more balance offense. I'm gonna tell you right now, Washington, Penix has got that. He got that Superman swag on him. I'm not gonna sit here and disrespect that. That cat, the ball he thought. I hope he fall to the dang Steelers. I hope I hope everybody feel the same way you feel about him. We'll take him up. We'll take him up in Pittsburgh.
Another failed quarterback in Pittsburgh. Go ahead.
That boy balling. So you got to come with some respect. I think it's gonna be a great game. It's gonna come down to the wire. My hope is Michigan, that running game starts to beat them up, hit them into the body. Corum has a little bit more. They got to get Edwards much more involved in the offense.
They will.
They got to do some things there. And so, but Washington for real. I'm not messing around with them.
A real fraud, they're a real fraud.
They got what's his name, Tice or whatever, the outside linebacker. He be wrecking shop. Yeah, everybody talking that junk. He wrecking shop. He can come up to Pittsburgh too.
We'll see him. He won't be wrecking shop on Monday night.
We'll take him. He come on over to Pittsburgh, where they got some challenges in their defensive backfield a little bit.
They do, yeah.
But we ain't throwing enough to make a challenge on that. So we got to see what we're gonna do and get tight end in the game. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one.
I wish it was good one. I think, sadly, I think Texas would have been better. But they played Washington's game.
They had the chance. They couldn't stand up. They couldn't do it.
Yeah, they couldn't stand up because they're playing Washington's game. Shots. You can't play that game.
Yours up here. Just throw it to his body, man. You throwing it into the sea. You
Soft. I ran my Ohio
you
State.
out
We
there
went to
you
Texas.
down there in the
So.
dome throwing it out the dome. Like throw it.
Yeah, I
You got
agree.
this guy. What he's
That's
like?
why
How
I
tall is the
ran out of
receiver?
Columbus for a
6'4"?
reason. He ran out of Columbus like a dog. He ran out of Columbus like a scalded dog,
I
basically.
mean, they had how
Like
many
a
shots
scalded
to try
dog.
and get the touchdown? Yeah, I'm like, man, I can't blame anybody else but them. All right, y'all. The Pro Bowl came out. Any snubs in the Pro Bowl?
Yeah,
Did y'all have
DJ
a chance to
Moore.
look?
DJ Moore all day.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
dude with Justin Fields, that brother's bad. And the thing about it too, he didn't do well with the backup, but bottom line is that Tyson Bagent, but no, DJ Moore was snubbed and disrespected. I just I was upset about that. I mean, he's the best receiver, I think, as far as making the maximize situation in the NFL. As far as not the best, but the max of a situation. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
yeah. So
he has a
who would you
career
take
high
out?
in receiving
Who you
yards.
gonna take out? Maybe Evans.
No, that happens.
Who you gonna take
Puka
out?
Nakua.
You can't do when he
He
about to break a record. They ain't taking him
got
out.
5 touchdowns, bruh. 5. Come on, man. Nakua is damn good for his first year, but he ain't no Pro Bowler right now. And he got a
Yeah,
lot of those catches because Cooper Kupp was out. It was a fool's
yeah,
goal, man. So yeah, so no, the fact that Nakua over him is criminal. Criminal.
I got
Criminal.
Winfield.
You got
Antoine Winfield Jr.
which
Yeah, it's
one?
one should be too.
Over who? Over Buda Baker.
Yeah, Boo got a reputation. That's all, man. He's not that good of a year this year. If that good of a year, they would trade for him because he was asking to be traded, and they didn't try to trade for him. Buddha's on decline.
He got
That's
zero
like Jeff Saturday
passes,
got the
zero picks.
Yeah, that's why Jeff Saturday. Remember Jeff Saturday got that Pro Bowl last. A lot of his reputation, so Buddha's not that good anymore. So you're right about that. Winfield should have got that, man. That's criminal too. He'll get paid though, so it don't matter, man. The brother gonna get paid. So.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, because you take a look at it. There's some questions between our quarterback in Buffalo and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes got like 16 interceptions.
Yeah, but he's made Alex made so many fumbles.
Yeah,
So that's the thing about it.
Patrick getting
Turnovers,
that on
bro.
Patrick.
Turnovers.
Patrick getting that on Love.
Well, Patrick, I mean, again, Patrick has been
I
right, but I give him credit. He's the wide receiver. I blame that on Big Red and Veach, man. They're not bringing the personnel. They shouldn't have let Tyreek go, first of all. They should have found a way for Tyreek. They should have found a way.
What's
They found a way
interesting
for They should have found a way for the brother.
James Cook made it on maybe like the last 3 games because they weren't even using him early in the season. How James Cook gonna
They
make
weren't,
Pro
they
Bowl?
in that game with the bad weather, he was like a damn battering ram on those
Yeah,
cats,
but that's
man. He
one
was
game. Like
killing.
we
No,
were
he
yelling
has great
because they
stats.
weren't
So
giving
he
him
has
the
great
ball.
stats. They obviously were padded because they used him more. But no, James is an excellent player, man. And
Yeah,
I'm
but I
impressed
mean
with
he's
him
not Pro
all
Bowl
day.
this year.
He Pro
I
Bowl,
love him,
yes,
but
he is.
you
Yes, he
basically giving
is.
it to him on 3 games.
Those are 3 damn good
Basically,
games,
because they
man.
weren't using him. That's why they were losing. They weren't running the football.
But again, they were holding him back, and you see, they started winning now when they started using James. That's that tell you he's a Pro Bowler because when they started using the brother was balling. They were holding the brother back. Ken Dorsey's at home right now because he held the brother back. That's why he's at home. That's why Joe Brady is OC and using him. That was one of the best moves of the season when McDonough got rid of Dorsey for Brady. I'm like, my man, because that offense has been night and day since it happened. 180-degree turn, competent offense. And
Well,
Dorsey didn't know what he was doing.
the best thing about the Pro Bowl is the selection part because the rest of it is trash.
Trash.
So it's like
We shouldn't even play the game anymore.
we basically get to talk about the selection and then they go on and come up with some carnival stuff.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't have a Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl should be all the All-Star games should be disbanded right off the start. Because no one's gonna play to their toe because they're gonna get hurt over an All-Star game. That's simple.
Well, it's interesting to see how some of this stuff comes together. Because these things end up being part of the Hall of Fame conversations, all that stuff. So in a way, even though the game is trash, it becomes part of the checklist.
The selections, not the play. The selections
Yes,
make
the
it part
selection.
of that. not
So
to play.
it's almost like, my goodness, it's we got to talk about it just because it happened, and so we will. We will. What other NFL stories? We're getting here towards the end of the season right now that y'all looking forward to here at the
Yeah, Black
NFL,
Monday. Black
huh?
Monday, man.
Black
Black
Monday.
Monday.
It feel like
Come
Black Monday
on,
already been
man.
happening. they
Well, yeah. Some people had
they
Black
they started with
Tuesday,
Black
like
Friday. They, they
yeah,
started
Black
Black
Friday,
Monday
yeah,
early.
Black
NFL
Monday.
this year.
Yeah, they did. Well, some cats they dug their own grave, like Brian Staley and McDaniels and Frank Reich. Yeah, Black Monday's gonna be huge, man. I mean, you could have 8, 9 more
Who
coaches
you got
maybe.
losing their job? They don't lost. Some of them don't
Mark
lost
Hart.
it, huh?
Depending on the season, McDonald might lose his job. Depending on McCarthy, I mean, Black Monday might happen, but you talk about Belichick gonna get canned, Riverboat Ron gonna get canned, Bowles. I
I
can
don't know
name
if
a lot
Bowles
of
gonna
people.
get. I don't know if
I
Bowles gonna
know
get.
Bowles,
Bo's gonna get
Why would you
canned.
fire
Bowles in
Bowles?
trouble, bro. Bowles in trouble, bro.
How? You sometimes you just put stuff
They
out in the
don't.
ether. Ain't no
No,
reason
I
for
think
us to
what you
get
say.
rid of
No, I
Bowles.
know.
Bowles,
Go. I mean, he's in
Bowles should
trouble,
get
man.
some credit for coach of the year. What you
I'll
get?
never forget.
No,
I'll never
the
forget.
OC's done a
Carl
great
came,
job. Not Bo. The OC's
I'll
done a
never
great job.
forget the
Canales
day
done a great
Carl
job with
came
Baker.
on this
Yeah.
show saying that Brian Ferentz was going to be the next coach at Michigan.
No, next coach of Michigan's gonna be
No, I'm
Brian.
talking about 3-4 years ago.
Oh yeah,
During the
well
COVID
that
season,
didn't happen.
you said Kirk Ferentz's son Brian Ferentz was going to be the
I
head
said
coach
that.
at Michigan. Yes, you
Yes,
did. You did.
yes,
That was 3 years ago. The
You
offense was competent.
yes,
Now, hey, like I said, the
yes.
competence is
We
awful
ain't
now. I
doing
can't say
that.
now.
Brian Ferentz.
Yeah,
We ain't doing
again,
that.
the offense was good then. That was the last year was good. But yeah, you're right. When they start putting offensive points per game. But the bottom line is, Ferentz was good 3 years ago. Yeah, but not now.
Yeah,
Obviously not.
they
That was
holding on
3
to
years ago.
Bowles. One of the things I think these coaches, these owners have to understand is continuity, man. And that's why. Somebody's going to take the job in Carolina, but he ain't going to win until you get continuity. You got to have continuity, and
Well, no,
so
they're not gonna win until the owner starts
you got to
throwing
have
drinks on
continuity.
people. The
It's just not happening.
owner's out of control. Our owner's out of control, man. He's
Yeah,
crazy. So
yeah.
he's
He throwing
nuts.
stuff at people. He gonna mess
Yeah,
around and get choked out.
well. See, the thing about it, he understands. He's trying to bring the equity game to NFL. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
There's different skill sets with that goes. And see, the problem with him, he's so arrogant. He made him pick Bryce Young, which is a mistake. Okay, you bring a coach like Frank Reich, you gonna make him pick Bryce Young when he wanted to pick CJ Stroud? You know he wouldn't pick CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud was a perfect candidate for Frank Reich. Okay, then he picked Matt Rule out of college because he looked like him. You saw the press. So again, it's just Mr. Tepper, you're a blessed man. You made a lot of money, but let the football people do the football. Let yourself make the money.
Now we haven't been on. We saw what's happening in Denver and what they're doing with the quarterback out there.
Yeah.
We've talked a little about Sean Payton. Sean Payton cracks me up. I've been on him. And I'm big on make whatever choice you got to make. But I have red flags when everybody else is fault but the coach. And this
This is his
cat,
fault too. This is his
he
fault too.
never
That's his arrogance.
takes any responsibility. None.
Yeah, well, the NFL let him get away with it when he did the bounty gate, and they gave him a year. That's something no one ever talks about Sean Payton's suspension ever.
None.
If he were black, they'd be talking about it all day.
All day.
All day.
All day.
Yeah.
And it's like he walk around like he ain't. He better be glad that Russ is who he is, because there could have been a Spreewell incident over there. he
Yeah,
just got
well, he
he
ain't.
he got to be a little bit
Russell's.
lucky.
I mean, again, but Russell. I mean, I don't know if he has it in him yet, but Russell's always dealt with adversity, man. At NC State, when they clowned him for Matt Glennon, he came to Wisconsin, came for adversity. Draft day, when they said he was too small, and then Matt Flynn was going to beat him out. Remember that? Matt Flynn was supposed to be the great quarterback. He beat him out. So, again, Russell, I mean, I think I've seen right now that I don't think it's all Russell's fault as far as his lack of performance, but it's some of Russell's fault or some of Russell's decline. But we'll see. I mean, I think Pittsburgh would be a nice place for Russell. I think ATL be a nice place for Russell. I mean, he's going to end up somewhere next year.
And he got his money. I guess I would be
Yes,
like
money.
Russ. I
He
would
got
say if
money.
they ain't
Yeah, that's why
Robert,
the
take my
clown
money.
for. He got 100 and what, 50 million.
Yeah.
Well, ain't nobody crying for Russell. I mean, it's sad he got embarrassed on the national stage, but it's the Broncos, man. They're becoming a laugh stock as it is. They're becoming a laughing stock.
I might have tweeted if I was Russ. God willing, they still got to send a check on the first and 50.
They do, yeah, they do, yeah, they do.
You know, I can do however you want me to do it. Just send a check on the first and the 15th.
Man, Russ is a professional, man. He
He
got
is.
traded. I mean, the main thing about Russ is sad that they won with Jared Stidham last week, but again, it just Russell. Ain't nobody crying for Russell. He got a lovely wife. God bless him. Russell. I hope he has one more act in him. With Pittsburgh, like I said, he got a team. He ain't gonna be out of football unless he wants to be.
Yeah.
He got one more. Somebody's gonna take a chance. He'll have his third chance, and if he doesn't ball, then yeah, he'll be a Hall of Famer. When he leaves the NFL, so nobody crying.
Darno, you've been watching
Russell's
this from afar. You be checking out these coaches. You got a
yeah, who you
Detroit
think,
state
John?
of mind. Ann Arbor 313-734. You got boys who play in the league. When you look at that situation, what's your
Well,
thoughts?
the thing that sticks out is the injury clause, right?
Yeah.
They threatened him if he didn't waive his injury prevention clause. They said they was gonna bench him or something like that.
They want him to restructure his whole contract, bro. Forget the injury clause, because you can't just do the injury. You have to restructure the whole contract, bro. So yeah, it was brazen. That's why the NFLPA came out and they didn't bench him when they wanted to bench him until they had a bad thing. They could say, well, it's a performance based now.
So Darno, you
Yeah,
said
that
with the
was
injury clause. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the main thing that stuck out to me was they wanted him, like he said, to restructure his contract, and I think that was we already know what that is. But
He ain't stupid, man. You ain't gonna mess around $37 million. You ain't stupid. This is yeah. So again, like I said, I feel bad what happened to Russell in the sense of competitor, and they
Now I
had a
gotta give my
small
boy the
chance.
air now. Hammer, you coming back in? Let him get his air now. Get the flow,
Okay, go
brother.
ahead. I told you I make mistakes. He makes mistakes too, so I make mistakes. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You right?
That's pretty much what I had to say about
Yeah.
that.
So I'm gonna get your voice in a little bit more as you looking at these playoffs and stuff like that. Are there, we heard the quarterbacky with Lamar, and Lamar just been stomping people out, in the Ravens. What do you see a collision between them 49ers and the Ravens? What are you seeing? Who do
Yeah,
you see
I
emerging?
think that's the way it's gonna be. The 49ers, they look well up until that point they looked unbeatable. I was in the building when they played the Seahawks on Thanksgiving Day. I was there in the building and I saw
Yeah.
what went down. So yeah, I see the 49ers making it, but and also barring injury, I see the Ravens getting there as well.
What about your Lions? What's your thought? Can they get a couple
Uh,
rounds?
I like him, but I don't trust him.
I don't
I
trust
don't trust
Campbell. I
him.
don't trust
And then
Campbell.
like Evan Turner and Andre Iguodala said, he said in reference to what Elton Brand, his veteran at the time, told him when they was playing the Boston Celtics. They said in order this was a game 7. They said in order we're gonna have to win by 10 points for us to win by 1. And that's because the officials, if it's close, if it's close, they're gonna find a way to screw them. They're gonna find a way to get the bigger team. They're gonna find a way to get the Celtics in there against the Heat because that's what's gonna drive the ratings. That's what's gonna get the money. And I think it's the same with the Detroit Lions. If it's close, they're gonna find a way to screw them out of the game.
Well, we saw a little bit of that in the Dallas game,
And
and
we've been saying it for 10 years, 10, 15 years.
I said sometimes Campbell, you gotta just go with the spirit, and if the spirit is telling you to kick that field goal, kick it. But he's right. After watching the documentary with about Barry Sanders, I was just like, man, now I know why I had to give up my Lions hat. It's just whatever can go wrong, will go wrong. But I'm hoping they'll get one or two games. I think he's coached so hard. I want to see him get one or two, or at least get
Yeah.
one.
But like I said, you got to win by. You got to win by. It was going to be more than 10. You got to win by 14 to 17 to win by one. Because if it's close, they're going to find a way to close that gap.
So let me ask you a question. What do you see? What's the problem with the Eagles? I'm gonna come over to you, Hammer,
I,
in a minute. Like, what's
I,
going on
I,
with them?
I have the exact same answer I had the last time you asked me this. But you asked me this question
I'm
about
hoping you just
3-4
have a
weeks ago.
different answer, but you probably come back the same one. Go ahead.
No, it's the same. It's the same. Hey, Josh Pate said this when he was talking about Ryan Day and what's going on with Ohio State. Sometimes you see problems and you can't change them right away. It's just the way it is at this
Mm-hmm.
moment, and that's the way it is with the I said the Sixers. Well, that's the way it is right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Is the play calling like the coordinators they go when you're good, teams are going to poach the staff.
Yep.
And we're seeing that with both coordinators being gone. Shane Steichen, he's doing his thing. He's an excellent play caller on the offensive end. Jonathan Gannon on the defensive end is doing the same thing. So it just goes to show. And they have the talent to win certain games, but when it gets close and you really need something schemed up, they just don't have it.
Mm. Yep. And I just don't see they're not as physical up front on either side of the ball. Like, other than the 4th-and-1 stuff, they don't feel like they have established their run game or their, I don't know if it's the, it just doesn't feel like they've established that. And usually off of that, their passing game starts to roll, all that stuff to come out, quick action, tempo, like you said, changing tempo. You don't see them doing that. So I can see like it's like the ingredients are there. So they're just not cooking the food the right way. It doesn't feel like it's operating. It doesn't feel like they're attacking. And it feel like they went from
They
being an
might be a little
attacking
worn
style to
down
doing
on
a
the
shoulder
offensive
roll.
line.
Huh?
And they might be a little worn down on the offensive line.
Yeah, and that might be part of it. Hammer, your thoughts?
As far as Eagles,
Yeah.
no, my understanding is that AJ Brown and Sirianni going at it. So I truly believe if people have talked about that. It seems, I thought AJ Brown was the MVP last year. Just real talk, because of his dynamic presence and how you brought it's just a different thing. But also, you brought up a great point about Swift. Swift's been misused the past 5 weeks. I mean, he was balling when they were 10-1. And so, so again, you got to blame Brother Johnson. I don't like to talk badly about brothers. But also, I'll give him a slack because we all know Sirianni's really running the show. Like, come on now. He's an offensive guy and from the Reed tree, so he's got to take accountability. And you would know this way, he's the problem because AJ Brown's up in his grill. So it ain't about Brian, but they don't throw Brian on the bus. He's the brother. Yeah. And he's the OC in name only, like Bienemy was. So no, and then you have the situation where now you got Matt Patricia. The defense looks terrible now because they have a bad backfield. And Patricia, he's lost his touch. He's not the Matt Patricia of the Patriots. And Sean Desai, sadly, I was pulling for Brother Desai, my former Bear coordinator, but he was awful as well. So I understand through the mess. Again, if Desai calls the plays anymore, let him go. I mean, what's this mess about? You gonna keep him around to be a defense coordinator that doesn't call plays, like Sean Lewis was with the Buffs? That makes no sense. Let him go. If you really, you've embarrassed the guy, or excuse me, maybe he never embarrassed him, but he should have embarrassed the guy. But Sirianni is a hot mess there, and so that's gonna be interesting. Watch that. It might not. I'll put it this way: watch Philly though, because they got a crazy owner. Watch Philly. If they really sink, watch Philly, man. People will laugh about that, but Mr. Sirianni hasn't won a chip. He fired Peterson. He fired Big Red. You think he'll fire Sirianni? That's a great job too. Someone like Ben Johnson, he would eat up that job, kill that job.
You're right. You're right. They got aggressive GM and aggressive owner.
I've not seen intel, but I've been talking about common sense.
Yep.
Sirianni's in trouble, bro. He's in trouble. And you should because he's in trouble, and that's something. There's always one thing about we go back to Big Black Monday. There's always a surprise on Black Monday. Remember that. There's always I said real talk. There's always a surprise.
You're right.
There's always somebody who thought they were in a chair and the seat wasn't hot, and all of a sudden the chair is gone. So there's gonna be a surprise because you got right now the money's too big. You got these owners who are arrogant. They like Mr. Tepper, and they're not used. The one thing about I tell people, billionaires aren't used to losing, man.
Yeah.
That's why they go crazy. They're not used to losing, man. So when they see this mess, you 5-7 with a billionaire, man, it's unacceptable, bro.
Well, I'll tell you.
So yeah, so Philly, like I said, Philly they've abandoned the run game. The defense is whack, and they seem to lose. So that's the problem with them. So they're going to be a one out definitely. And I think getting back, it's going to be a Ravens 49er rematch. And I think again the same thing's going to happen. Not as big a victory, but Brother Lamar's going to get that Lombardi Trophy and put down the naysayers that he's not quarterback enough to win it. So that's my prediction.
Man, I put up that one post talking about their quarterback room, and a guy said, "Who cares? I don't." And I had to respond to him like, "That's good. I didn't put it up for you." It's these people, boy, they be cracking me up out here. Come on, don't come at me without getting knocked out, huh?
Hey, it's the same thing they were saying about the Harvard president, the
Yeah,
affirmative action hire,
yeah.
DEI, saying all that kind of stuff, all these kind of buzzwords,
All these buzzwords out here, we all know what it means. We not out in these streets. And understand when you come, you get the Matumbo finger. You come at us. We bring that energy. You want to bring that energy, we bring it back. We're gonna close out though with giving out our blessings and our flowers. We started out in 2023. I think it's been good for us. We want to close out with giving out our flowers to folks. So who wants to begin the
I'll start. That
2024?
will surprise everyone.
Uh-oh.
Surprise everyone, yeah. So you want me to wait or
Go
you
there
ahead.
you
go
go.
right up?
Ready for this one.
Yeah, my flower is gonna be to an interesting person, and you all see me for many years, and I love my Chicago Bears, I love my Chicago Bulls, love my Chicago Cubs. But my flowers have to go out to the current quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. This is a guy that was demonized. You see, now people straight up about that Sean Clifford should be the starting quarterback. Several people saying that mess. And they clown this brother. And even after the first game, they didn't count because he went against the Bears. And he had a little struggle in the beginning. But now Brother Love has brought 30-something touchdowns. Very few, about 10 interceptions. Almost 4,000 yards. The brother is balling. And so I think definitely this Sunday, I love my Bears. And we're going to lose. And he's going to playoffs. And so, and this thing about the people don't give him credit for, he will have the best first year starting tenure, of any Packer quarterback in history of that franchise. And this brother, they wanted to run him out of town, run him out of the state of Wisconsin, run him out of Green Bay, and demonize him because of A-Rod. And my man is showing the intestinal fortitude to, again, believe in himself. And with a young receiving core, the youngest receiving core in the league, and his best receiver out. And Jaden Reed balling, Eastern Michigan and Michigan State fame. And so tight end out too. And so this brother is balling. And so he's one of the young quarterbacks coming up right now. He's mobile. He better than Rick Justin, no question. I take him over Justin all day. I'm just keep it real. So this brother getting flowers because they wanted to see him fail, like Ray Rose. They wanted to see him fail. And this brother, like I said, believed himself, look in the mirror, and even in the adversity where people were clowning him and the Packers were in trouble, that brother came back. And that brother's going to be going to the playoffs, the Packers. It might make a little run, though. But watch, they might make a little run. So it might be the Cowboys. Hint, hint.
Okay.
So that's my flowers and my drop the mic moment for my brother, Jordan Love.
All right, Darnell.
Yeah, this might be a guy you guys have never heard of. His name is Keisei Tominaga. He's from Moriyama, Japan. and he plays the two guard for Nebraska. And I know Nebraska is not a team a lot of people watch, but this guy is a killer. He shoots from everywhere on the court. He can get to the rim. He shoots the floater. He brings us a great energy to the game. I watched him play a couple times, and this is a guy that you want to tune in and watch. So that's my drop the mic. I'll give my flowers out to Keisei Tominaga. He's number 30 if you're gonna go check him out.
I gotta give my flowers to my man Mike Tomlin again. Man, I watched the Steelers and I felt like I was watching the bus. They went back to the old Steelers. They were at Seattle. They went back to the old Steelers. I felt like there was Le'Veon Bell in the house. They had over 468 yards or something like that total offense. But the running game, I have not seen a physical running game like that in years. I almost had a tear. I had a tear in my eye. I had to put it in the group chat. I had a tear in my eye. I thought I saw the bus. I thought I had Le'Veon. I thought we was going back into the clock. It just felt good to see that team out there in the way that they were playing. So I had to throw Mike T. You took me back. You turned back the clock for me against Seattle, and I hope we keep going in that direction. And I love that physical. Win, lose, or draw. Let's get physical. I love that, Mike T. Thank you for bringing it back. Thank you for sticking in it. And I was surprised that Mason did what he did, but that running game, I haven't seen that running game like that in years. That offensive line putting it together. So I got to give love to my man Mike, who everybody is digging the grave. Listen to all the podcasts. Mike's got to go. We got to trade it for a pick. We got to do all that. All he does is keep doing his thing. So a lot of love out to Mike T in that running game for the Steelers. All right, y'all. Till next time. It's love here from us here. One mic with my man Carl, and the youngin over there, Darnell Kirkland Jr. and myself, Devon Wilson. Thank you for being with us. Keep supporting us. You can catch us at realsportsguys.com or Real Sports Guys on all social media platforms. We'll see you on the side.
Ready for the day the Lord called on me. Them all decisions, man, they all on me. I came in this way from hey, yo, Neil. Hey, what's up? I got you. Got you. Yeah. R.I.P. Grammy. Free my brother.